Wewe ukisikia Safaricom itakuita utaoga?
I blundered everything.
Nimekuwa garbage collector hapo Kasabuni.
The story is not about jazz anymore. It is about these kids.
Whenever I'm sad, I can just play the violin and feel like joy has come to me.
Like there were concerts, and then there were concerts organized by Safaricom, and the word here is organized.
Safaricom knows how to throw a good party.
The very first time I went for jazz festival, the Safaricom Jazz. Wow, I will never forget that day.
For a creative, that's like a dream come true. You know, you only see it in your dreams, and to see it happen, even in Kenya, was really, really a blessing and a dream come true.
Ikiingia sasa pale stage, the setup, the big sound, the big lights, the ambience.
It was grand. It was just perfect.
I was in a group where I would go to a place and tunaambiwa cheki hii mic moja ndio ina work, hii nyingine hai work. So wewe shikilia tu, alafu mta exchange time ya verse yako. So coming from that to being on a group stage, and sometimes you'd be on a group stage on Saturday or Sunday, uko sijui wapi, and you'd be like, oh my god, huku ni tumeletwa na nani huku? And it's because of the level of excellence like Safaricom put into their event.
Hili dance ya kanisa. Oyoyo. Hili dance ya kanisa. 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 Hili dance ya kanisa. Mimi boy wa kanisa. Na nimeka mkuchatisha. Napenda Yesu kabisa. So nitadu dance ya kanisa. Wase. Hii dance ya wazee. Wase dance ya kanisa kila mse. Haya basi twende ni dance ya kanisa ieleweke, mapenzi ya baba itendeke. Kama mtu hajashika usimcheke. Hajalishiwa ni nani. Wewe uenda church gani? Unapenda Yesu nani? Kuja basi dance nami. Hii dance ya kanisa. Oyoyo. Hili dance ya kanisa. Dance ya kanisa. Dance ya kanisa. Hii dance ya kanisa. Dance ya kanisa. Dance ya kanisa. Dance ya kanisa. Hili dance ya kanisa.
That's what an international show looks like. It sets a standard.
Every time there's always something like new or something great to experience. You know, this time screens are, I don't know, doing what. Artist is coming from, I don't know where, up there. The music, I don't know, sounds how. There are two band setups on stage playing at the same time.
They really raised the bar when it came to entertainment.
The artists as well as Safaricom realized, hey, we've just found something grand. We slipped in a bit of confetti, I remember. And we added the color of the confetti, the color of the artist. If it was white, it was white. And everybody's like, I must have that.
Performers are even allowed to, and this is what I really love about the Safaricom concerts, is you as the artist get to say how you want your performance to be.
I remember when we were producing that effect for Mercy Masika, we had organized everything, the screens, the background, everything. So when Mercy walks in, she looks like she's flying in the sky. Nobody could understand what was going on. They thought we had fixed lights or LEDs or whatever on the dress. Even Mercy herself didn't believe that she was, because we had told her, stand in one place, don't move.
Working with this mapping on the dress, you know, it looked so nice. I was so excited. I think for a creative, you go like, oh my gosh.
You would always tell this is different. You would always tell that this is a cut higher.
A concert is actually a big deal. When you can't go for a concert is when you actually realize a concert is a big deal. And it's not the same when you watch it from home.
Nimekuja kulearn more about music, about how musicians wakubwa ambao wameimba.
Tumekuja kujibamba,
kujienjoy, kulisten to nice music.
Kisumu was ridiculous. I could not see the end of the crowd. And I remember, and that's when I got to know Kisumu is one of the, I call it reggae central.
All the years that we went, Kisumu was usually
always
the biggest. That was the one that was the craziest, the loudest, the most notorious.
We were ready, we had done the dry run before, it went really well. We were to open the gates at 4 o'clock, so we knew call time was at 2 o'clock to make sure that we've done the final, turning all of the lights and just the final walkthrough. And so none of us from the key team was on ground because we were all getting ready to get there for the call time of 4 o'clock, sorry, to open the gates at 6.
Let me start by saying, for me, that was my first event with Safaricom. I would say that was like being baptized by fire and oil and everything that you could name with, yeah. You've done all the rehearsals, you're ready for the show, we're at the hotel, and then we see all this wind and the rain, and we're like crossing our fingers and just saying, let's hope that it passes or it doesn't get close to where the venue is. And unfortunately, the call came.
And someone said to me,
the stage has fallen.
So I was like, is that a new way of saying it's kicking or things are really cool? Or I didn't understand, what do you mean stage has fallen?
It was sad to know that the roof fell. I was surprised to see one of the lighting engineers, he actually cried when he learned that the stage fell, yeah.
Too bad the stage came down on me. I was inside there.
I think nilikuwa na more than 20 to 25 songs zenye nilikuwa nimeandika kwa kitabu, na Bishop alikuwa anazipenda karibu zote. So tulikuwa tumechagua song 3, akaniambia hizi ndio tutarecord kwanza na tufanye video. I was so happy, but mambo ya Mungu bana, sijui hata unaweza semaje, God akapata accident bana, na God akamchukua, nikabaki na zile songs zangu na kitabu.
And the only thing that saved my life was the smallest thing in the world. It was the crash of the drum. That was the only thing that held the screens from falling on me.
I like what I saw with the Safaricom team. The show had to be done. So the mobilization of the security team and everybody on ground trying to make sure the event is done. A crane was found, lifting speakers with a crane, you know.
We used the power of music and the power of the artist to get the artist to come, and so we are come in and manage the crowd for us while we continued rebuilding. Because remember, at 6 we need to open the stadium, otherwise we'll have a chaotic situation outside. For everybody who came to give 100%, everybody gave 200%. We had 29,000 people who came through. It was quite big, and so thank God we decided to rebuild. It wasn't as big or grand of a stage that we had hoped it was going to be, but it worked, and it worked really well. And we were able to still do the live performance. And the artists, and it's always one of my favorite memories, were just like, this show is going to run, and this show is going to be the best show ever. And so when we got the customer report of the show, it was the highest ranking in terms of the customer experience and the performance on stage.
Breaking news, Bob Collymore is dead.
Bob Collymore passed on. This is just information filtering into our studios.
I think maybe I'll say that Bob just loved music. So it wasn't really about jazz in particular.
He was very passionate about the ghetto classics. He was very passionate about people who do not have an opportunity getting an opportunity.
Through just meeting him, he just came and told me, you know what, you can have this saxophone. This saxophone, I've been playing it for all my years since I started learning music. So I remember by then I was not a good player. I didn't know to play a little bit technical as others. To me, I thought it was so big. I couldn't, you know.
The proceeds from Safaricom Jazz have changed the lives of those kids. I've been to their school. I've seen the kind of life they have. I've seen how they've transformed, how they've grown.
The money that we get from Safaricom International Jazz Festival and now from the marketing department has allowed us to have consistent lessons, better teachers, more instruments. That has allowed us to have a better foundation to teach, pure and simple.
Through the Safaricom Jazz Festival, also our own stage got more popular. So it business-wise, yes, it contributed to our success, but more importantly, to our reputation. And it was always one of our key drivers to support the cause from Safaricom Jazz for the kids and but also to support local artists and local musicians.
The brand size 8 really grew because nilikuwa their brand ambassador for Safaricom Live, nilikuwa their brand ambassador for Facebook, na nilikuwa their brand ambassador for bonyeza *544# ya data. Sisi ndo tulianzisha data na Safaricom.
And there's something beautiful about the audience. Wakisha kukubali, anything else unatupa wakiwa na meza. As long as wamekukubali.
And the award for the Male Breakthrough Artist of the Year.
God come through. Nikashinda Groove Award. Breakthrough Artist of the Year.
Baraka.
Hata sikuwa nimaliza 1 year kwa industry.
We were very privileged as a choir actually to be invited to represent actually Kenya, let me say, in the global sphere, because in this case we took part in the campaign, the Kenyan campaign, the launch of the Kenyan campaign for non-permanent seats at the UN Security Council. And we were very privileged as Safaricom to go out there and actually do what we do best, and that is music. And I was part of the team that actually went there. It was my first time, of course, going to New York.
We were called and we were told, we want to send you guys to Mali. You're the first Safaricom Jazz export. When they talk about Turkana and the cradle of mankind, Mali is a significant cradle of music for Africa. Significant. And that experience was just, mind-blowing. It's not your famous Joy of Jazz type festival, but it is such a rich cultural experience.
Like I said before, I'm studying music, specifically a bachelor's in music right now at the University of Leeds, and I want to go on to master in writing for film, television and video games. And how that ties back to my time at SYO is that a lot of that music requires a lot of orchestral knowledge and orchestral writing. So my 5 years at SYO was honestly paramount to the direction I'm taking my master's in.
Nature will always reward you. Kama unafanya the right thing, hata kama umeambiwa ufagie mahali, fagia kwa sababu umeitikia kufanya hiyo kitu from the heart. Through Safaricom that I managed to get a decent job, and I also managed to feed my family. So I'll be officially traveling to London to start my education. It's a very good feeling because someone somewhere believed in me.
Skiza has changed our lives, you know. There was a time that our complaint was distribution, you know. 20 years ago, I was like, how are we going to get our music out there? You know, that's not the situation anymore, you know. There are several different avenues, and Skiza continues to dominate that conversation, you know.
The biggest challenge maybe is if you don't understand as a musician how Skiza can help you and how Skiza should help you.
I actually sat down and asked myself, had Blaze not gone to, because now here we were in Eldoret, Kisumu, had Blaze not come to Eldoret, what would have happened to this young guy with all this skill, all this talent? In fact, one of the guys I met there is my photographer now, here, yeah, his name is Taches. One of the guys I met in Nakuru, we are collaborating to produce a film together. His name is Wilson Osiolo. Those are guys I was meeting outside Nairobi, places you'd never even think you'd visit, but they're brilliant.
Tumepatana wasanii, tunatoa ETR. Wasanii unajua tunapata pesa, unaweka hapa, unapenda inaisha, unarudi tena. ETR mpaka serikali inajua tunapewa pesa.
Then we were at the billboards and the people like, sasa ule msee nini. Yeah, kuna vitu kama hizo, but still we are humble. And
seeing Diane in the flesh was for me like completely fantastic. It was something that it's like when you meet the person that you've always wanted to meet. You never thought you'd have that opportunity, and then to share a stage with someone like Diane was awesome.
Diane Reeves, for her, that was it. That was it. Kavitha couldn't breathe. She couldn't breathe. She was just keeping herself together. She had met her hero. In heroine, yes.
Yeah, it was
Shiro.
Shiro.
Yeah, you met your Shiro.
So nikifanya job mimi nilikuwa nachukua hii part of the allowance ndio na keep naweka. So niliweka allowance, nikaweka allowance, then nilimaliza job hivi after 9 months. This was a life transformation ilifanyika. Big life change. Nilimaliza my first cash kabisa. Pesa kwanza kushika kwa mkono hivi pesa mingi was from Safaricom. Nimeenda nika withdraw pesa yote nilikuwa nayo kwa account. All my money. Nikajengea babangu nyumba sababu babangu amekuwa wife wawili. Nikajengea mamangu 1 bedroom. Juu marehemu mamangu Meresa alishakufa sana, nikamjengea 1 bedroom. Mamangu mwenye mbaki mdogo stepmom nikamjengea 2 bedroom. And then mimi for the first time nikajenga permanent house 4 bedroom. Courtesy of Safaricom. By the time my dad alikuwa nakufa, I wanted to prove something to him that indeed art can make it and mtu anaweza make through art.
I can actually see her move from stage to stage. She performed in the young musicians, and because of the experience she's had in SYO, it's given her a lot of confidence. Her voice has changed. Everything about her music has generally changed. She's at a different level now.
When my kids arrived to play and they're walking into this big rehearsal hall, and these professional musicians, people who played for 40 years, they played, they're sitting there. But the prime seats, principal seats of that orchestra had been left for my Ghetto Classics kids. So they walk in and they just see, seat number 1 is mine, seat number 1. And they were like, what? But that honor. And then the final thing was the day of the concert. We were given a changing room, a dressing room, with it was like in the movies, you know, there was a mirror, those 2 lights. And it was one of my violinists, David, he said, they're respecting us so much that we have been given a changing room, a beautiful changing room. And to me, that was it. That
they felt respected because they were musicians, and that made them feel wonderful.
God started making ways and opening doors, and we were able to come up with capital, so we were able to set up a proper place in Buruburu. I think that was probably the best studio in Kenya at that point. Yani, I set up. Right now, I'm signed under my label.
Come on, Angori, kuja na mbogi gade. Come on, Angori, kuja na mbogi gade. Come on, Angori, missing a worry. Tumina kukokia fe, ngoma zangu, flow nayo, nguo nazo, kadem nako, jia ngori. Ati nini? Angori, flow nayo, swag nayo, kila kitu, Nairobi, Safcom, ngori. Usote veja unaweza kuleta ngori, ukileta ngori, uku ni ngori jo. Una tabia za kishodi, kesi na oji ni horibo, mori yo. Kumbuki juzi nini ilifanyika kwa kori, lijaribu kuzua ngori, kumbe likuwa nisha kutoa pori. Sorry bro, tuko kimoja, sami niko kategori. So, niko na kina za kodi, ka una copy, tena just told you so. No worries though, testimony mefanya nijuwe sa God him so. 90% of you rappers bado munazimona shodi kanodi flow. No tukida digongi ko, kuja na bako ya gondi ko. Nairobi knows, vile niko na mapepo netaji maombi boss. Kila siku mena mon me toes, reason nifuatwa na honey hoes. Life is like a movie, wacha ni wapate crony. So stay on your lane katori ko. Sipo tapiko makofi blows, utosi nose bleed. Baki mekuwa ni kesi ya koti ko. Brownie bro, come ni show, lidha nitakuwa impossible. Instead of kutype kwa simu, wanitafute kama una ngori. Come on Angori, kuja na mbogi gade. Come on Angori, kuja na mbogi gade. Missing a worry. Tumina kukokia fe, flow nayo, swag nayo, kila kitu, Nairobi, 254, ngori, flow nayo, swag nayo, kila kitu, Nairobi, OG, Safcom, ngori, flow nayo, swag nayo, nguo nazo, kila kitu, ngori. Yeah.
Niko na 20 years ya mtu kulan. Just the way tu Asiego learn javelin hivyo. Watu wanaweza learn through tu kusoma stories zangu, kusikiza muziki zangu, kuona the way I'm making moves.
When starting, watu walikuwa anafanya nini comedy Facebook huyu. Kija usikie huyu guy hoye. Na wanapiga show na bebe huko wanafanya na demu yake. Sijui kama wataachana, sijui kama atazidelete. In my whole life mimi yangu ilikuwa comedy ya choka. But we can be able to push ourselves and say, can we have a special? Tuite tuone kama watu wanatoka. People come, wana overflow. Why? It's because you're being pushed. Ukikani kama unalala, there are other guys wenye sasa tunaambia wachangamke. There are other guys who are coming and they have fresh ideas.
Time yako ikifika, you wouldn't even have to struggle with it. Everything is gonna fall into place.
You've just appeared on stage, like if you come to Churchill's show, a lot has been worked on for 20 years. So the moment you step on that stage, you become a superstar, just like Groove Awards. You just appear on that stage because it's done so well. You're already a star in your own way. Sasa unataka kuendesha gari, uhame, sijui ufanye nini. Sajani. You have to pay the price.
So the aspect of understanding and passing on the information that is needed, bringing people back, like bringing them back to center, just anchoring them down to the main reason why we're here. Si eti tu kubanjuka pekee. Yes, tunajua hiyo ni culture yetu, ma youth dem na nini. Lakini ukitoka hapa lazima utoke na kitu muhimu ambayo itakujenga.
How do you make music for people? And I think Safaricom also does that. How do we make products for people, the masses? And for me, that's the same mentality. How am I designing music for the masses?
The most important thing is for you to be consistent. And if your fans feel like you're consistent enough, of course they'll buy your music. Of course they'll subscribe. Of course they'll want a piece of you because that's who we are.
So music is so big here. What if we replicated this? What if we, because there are places in Africa and the world that urban gospel music is not as big as is in Kenya.
I basically tell parents that look at your child as an individual. All right, your child has got talents, and as a parent, it's up to you to identify that talent, to identify that potential. And help your child realize that potential. That's primarily your role.
There'll be bad days and there'll be good days. Of course, I'm not saying it's all been smooth and taffy. There are days when she's just tired and I don't feel like going for practice. But it's to talk to them, hold their hand, encourage them. And when they see that you have the same level of enthusiasm and interest as them, then they pull up where they're slackened, they pull themselves up.
Learn an instrument, play, right? Even though you don't think you play it well, come audition for the orchestra, come join an orchestra, join another orchestra, join a band, you know, but play an instrument.
With learning an instrument, it's different. If let's say you learn a piece and you don't go practicing for 6 months, you're going to forget it, regardless of whether you practice it in the air or you remember how it sounds. So you have to be very consistent. In terms of SYO, discipline is very important because I've learned that me practicing will affect the orchestra. How I sound will affect the orchestra because each individual is important. Each individual matters and has a role.
Playing in an orchestra is teamwork. You have to listen to what the other people are doing. If you don't listen, that's where the music breaks down. So it teaches you, first of all, to humble yourself. Because once you're in that orchestra, you're equal to everyone. It doesn't matter what's happening.
The drive comes within what I want to do and the fact that I know that's the opportunity. I'm always performing like it's my last opportunity to do.
Si lazima, sometimes si lazima upe mtu do. Just kukua hapo kumotivate, kumwambia kuna kesho.
It's not easy, as in hakuna mteremko. It's not just about shika dance to end the show, pesa imekuja lipwa. There's a lot you have to like,
Process.
You have to be on toes saa zote.
When we were in the slum, in our class, I didn't go to any photography or videography school. We were taught by a youth organization in the slum. There were so many kids, but I used to be the least best in photography and videography. I could not understand anything. I saw shutter speed, I could never understand the language. But for me, I was so good in one thing, that is talking to people. I used to communicate. You find these people from CNN, they come, they do a documentary, but I'll be the one who's featured because of talking. Like, hi, how are you doing? What more can we do? We can do this, I can take you to this place and that, yeah. Because I knew like people love people, people appreciate people, and people want to connect with people. Therefore, what can I do? I used the skill of talking. Even when I used to go to these events, I used to talk to people, try to tell them what I do. I was not afraid of rejection because for me, I think I've been rejected more than I've been accepted by the community.
You accelerate into your passion. You don't jump into your passion. Sasa nitakuwa nauza watermelon, pap. You accelerate. And the right time, you'll join the highway, the passion, the career that God intended you to do. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Slowly, utafika.
We talk about music from around the world, and very rarely do we mention Kenyans, and it's very sad. And I think, for me, that's one of the passion points that I have, is how can we begin to see Kenya and Kenyan music, despite the genre. Of course, I'm biased towards jazz, but that music sitting and playing on international stages around the world, in Germany, in New York, in Ontario, in Auckland, in all those places, are we seeing our music playing in those places?
I can say when we start appreciating our talents, appreciating our art, sisi kama Kenya tuanze kuinvest in it. Wazazi waanze kuaccept that art, talents is paying. Hapo ndio tutaanza kuomoka.
What I would want to see more is artists getting to a space where they go do more rehearsals, just to polish up on their performances and their live performances. Being in a studio is one thing, but also performing outdoors is something different.
Shagala bagala, iko tayari kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala.
The most important thing is the future never forgets. The future never forgets its history, man. They never forget who created it, you know. It doesn't matter how you try to erase it. The future never forgets.
The feeling of coming on stage and people screaming your name is deceiving. It's something that you can easily get addicted to and then get depressed in its absence.
Let's tell our stories. Let's not lose it. You know, we have so much influence from outside. We have such great Kenyan stories. And I feel like every time it's like we are moving further away when we should be moving towards just putting ourselves on them. You don't have to be Hollywood. Let's have our own Hollywood here. Watch our Hollywood kuja watutafute hapa.
When you have people who all want to succeed for the same reason, then I don't think failure is an option.
Sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. Ufisadi, ubinafsi, ukabila, kuuza sura, wataki kuuza sera. Udugu ni kufaana, sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. Wewe!
Going beyond, there's great opportunity. We have to go beyond what we want.
Going forward, people will understand that art fills a hole in our lives.
Going beyond a creative sector to a thriving and sustainable creative industry.
I think it would be a plus for the industry to have masterclasses for engineers.
I'm looking forward for more opportunities.
We are ready to work with you.
Happy 20 years. Good luck going forward.
Thank you so much for the growth, kwa kuniomosha,
Bravo, Safaricom.
You know, be you Safaricom. Do more, support more, go beyond.
Please continue what you do.
I'd encourage you to continue doing what you're doing for the youth.
Na tuzidi au sio?
Muna inspire watu wengi sana huko nje.
You know, I'm imagining my whole 20. In the 20 of Safaricom I was in, ningeingia hiyo whole 20. Ai.
Wishing you a brilliant 20 years in business.
Going beyond, we have so many more children that we can touch, whose lives we can change.
And as you grow larger, may you also benefit those out there.
Congratulations, Safaricom at 20. And in future, I want to see you be one of the most popular in making people succeed in what they want to be.
Going beyond, I'd love to see from the notes, from the rhythms, from the movement, continue impacting lives of people, and most importantly, continue doing the good work you're doing.
Congratulations on your 20 years.
Thank you so much for changing our lives. I celebrate Safaricom and I applaud you for the great feats you've been able to do over the last 20 years.
Congratulations, Safaricom, and going beyond. I can't wait to see you guys doing more concerts, more festivals, supporting more arts, supporting new talent.
Congratulations, Safaricom, on achieving 20 years, being just above legal age to drink and get married. Anyway, go beyond. We look forward to seeing what the next 20 years look like.
We are ready and willing. Our latest campaign says we want to go beyond. And I think there's a great opportunity for us to be able to go beyond together. So what are your go beyond dreams that you can come and sit with us and share with us? So we are willing to go beyond with you, twende tukiuke, and let's see what the possibilities will be.
Twende tukiuke. I love you. Mwah.